Afternoon, VC. So I'm sure you're all aware of the insanity of this world going on. One thing's for certain, there will be no more fucking salads for me. Cheesesteaks twice a day. The beer of choice today is Captain Peanut Butter's Chocolate Revenge. So we're gonna crack this bad boy open while the firefighters do their thing here in town, it sounds like. Unfortunately, there's firefighters in Ukraine trying to save whoever they can out of a children's hospital in Kiev right now. Or Kiev, however you say it. That's been submitted to The Hague as, war crimes. So that's what we got going on. I'm kind of at a loss for words there. So I'm trying to just keep records in my world, but I've run into roadblocks there too, so we'll get into all that. We're here to show records. We're gonna get off this crazy world business for a minute. First record, I've found a Japanese honey hole out in Los Angeles. So records are starting to arrive from this particular source. Alan Silva and the Celestial Communication Orchestra, Portrait for a Small Woman, The Shout, Portrait for a Small Woman. This is from, I think, 1979. This is a France original on the Sun Records label, which I have one other record on this label. It's a strange electronic record that I found from Dusty Groove, and I can't remember the name of it, but I will show you the label. It's in really nice shape. Sun Records. And yeah, full-on orchestra here, doing free jazz. It's this is a wild experience of a record, and absolutely fantastic. So yeah, a lot going on with this. It's just it's a massive ensemble. Just phenomenal. Yeah. So there you go. Next up, this was released as a twofer after both of the records that are on this were released separately on the BYG Actual label, also from France, so we're staying in France at the moment. Archie Shepp, Yasmina, a Black Woman, and then Live at the Pan-African Festival is also on this double. This, I think, was released in '71, and the albums were, I think, released in the late '60s. I could be wrong. This is, the classic BYG gatefold. Yeah, absolutely crucial Archie Shepp stuff, and Gretchen Moncourt III is involved, as well as Alan Silva, who I just showed on the bass. I didn't mention prior, he's a bass player, and a fantastic one. And there's there's Algerian and Tuareg musicians on this, on the Pan-African Festival side. That's just mind-blowingly good. Sonny Murray's here on the drums. Arthur Jones on sax. Billy Joe Jones is on drums on part of this. Dave Burrell on piano. Star-studded affairs here. Beautiful copy of that. Very cheaply found as well. Next, I think sticking with the Japanese source, as you know, I've been collecting ESP disc. This is the Frank Wright Quintet. Your Prayer on ESP disc. Original copy, I think from 1967. One of the more difficult ones to track down, and this guy just delivers the goods. That is a wild affair. If you like your free jazz free, then here you go. Sticking with jazz, a couple big ones from Alex Motor 247. Happy to add these to the collection. I'd like to have everything that Rashid Ali put out on the Survival Records label, his own imprint. And this is Rashid Ali Quintet. And a beautiful copy of that. I'm trying to think who's all on this. James Blood Ulmer's on guitar on that, which is always a treat to have him involved. And then you've got another big one, Moonflight, the Quartet Quintet. Another one in fantastic condition. Thank you, Alex, for getting these to me timely and in perfect condition. Charles Eubanks is on piano, Benny Wilson bass, Marvin Blackman tenor, James Bass alto. Not a lineup you hear from very often, but this is a fantastic record, Moonflight. A little bit later in year. I think this is from 76. I think the other album's from 73. Scott at Lunchbox got a bunch of dead stock in of a couple of bands that were on his own Lunchbox Records label when he lived in Atlanta and had the small label, and it was emo hardcore stuff going on in the 90s. So I think the drummer from the Hall El Shaddad, one of the bands from Atlanta, it could be a different guy in the band, but I think it's the drummer that came across all the dead stock copies of stuff and got some to Scott for him to sell, and he marked them all like prices would be in the 90s, so super, super, super cheap. So I grabbed everything that I could get my hands on, and I've got their first 7-inch here. Well, maybe not their first, but the first one I've got here in this pile. The Sound of Swords Clashing on the At a Loss Records label. Of course, that title sounds like a bad porno. Anyway, good emo hardcore from Atlanta from the mid-90s. And then the 7-inch split with Inkwell. Of course, Hall El Shaddad from Atlanta, Georgia, as we just talked about. This one is on Lunchbox Records. And then this 7-inch Running and Failing from Hall El Shaddad. This one's on Trouble Man Unlimited buddy system. I know that Dom has talked about the Trouble Man Unlimited label. This has Human Again and Eloquent Loser are the A and the B sides. Good shit. And then this record, this is a good one. Car versus Driver. This is a classic album. Out of a Silent Sky. This is probably the best release that Lunchbox Records put out. Really good emo hardcore from the 90s. I think probably 96. Could be wrong on the year. These were all super, super cheap. So I grabbed those. I already had the two full-length Hal El Shaddad records. Next up, Fortet Rounds. This is a masterpiece of a record. Reminds me of DJ Shadow quite a bit. You know, the instrumental early Shadow stuff is what this brings to bear for me. But it's this is just an absolute masterpiece. For Rounds. I've had the CD forever. My friend Creel in Alabama turned me on to that record. He's a big DJ Shadow guy, so he's like, oh, you have to hear Fortet. But this is the 2013 10-year anniversary copy. Originally came out in 2003. And this has a live CD performance of this album. So that was the big reason for me to pick it up. Because I already have the CD. I didn't really need the wax. but having another, or a live CD with this is fantastic. And that's Kieran Hebden. He's done a lot of stuff with Madlib, all kinds of musicians. He's absolutely brilliant. Basically DJ in England. And I picked this up, it's funny. I actually asked Scott in there, I said, is this one of John's that he brought in for trade? And they thought that it wasn't. And then I asked John, he goes, yeah, that was mine. So I ended up buying one of John's trade-ins, digital gramophone, which is kind of funny. But Elliott Smith, New Moon, the double album. This is original, I believe, on Kill Rock Stars. A lot of unreleased stuff from Elliott Smith, the singer-songwriter stuff, which is, I mean, he's one of the best of all time for me. Originally from Portland, moved to Los Angeles. His band Heat Miser is one of my favorites of all time. And he was taken from us in death by kitchen knife to the chest with an estranged girlfriend, but it was ruled a suicide. So you I mean, what is that? Putin propaganda? Bullshit. She stabbed him. That's my opinion. Next record, I get to show that later. This album got a very nice reissue. Converge, You Fail Me. I think this came out after Jane Doe. This one's just good old hardcore ass heaviness from the emo hardcore days in the early 2000s. This is on Death Wish Epitaph. This is the color variant thing. It's packed in there really tight. I'm not going to try to dig it out of there. I already dug it out once to spin it. It's good. Converge. Good heaviness. I think they're from up Massachusetts way or something like that. Ordered this package a while back from Sweden, RecordMania. Just a fantastic shop, one of the best in the business. The dollar's good against the krona right now, so I got these two records. Now, this freaking package got scanned delivered last night at 5:50 p.m. I was literally outdoors by my trash bin next to the porch when the scan took place. You know, the scan says delivered on porch. What does that mean to you? To me, it means delivered on porch. So I wait from 5:50 to about 9:30 because our mail does come late as hell sometimes with the guy literally having the headlamp on in the pitch dark. And it's still getting dark here around 5:50 p.m. Nothing arrives. So I go down to the annex today and raise holy hell. And so they tell me they called the carrier. He's got to go retrieve it. I mean, what do you mean, retrieve it? I take it he delivered it to the wrong address. So they promised me they would get it and deliver it today. So I left there fuming. 11:30 a.m. There it is on the porch. Pick it up. The packageman opened up right down the middle, just flat, just open. These records just exposed. So I'd assume if he delivered it to the wrong address, that whoever got it opened it to look at the contents, and luckily it didn't just go right in the trash bin. These are two very rare records. This record has never gotten any kind of reissue, ever. It was pressed once. Han Benning solo on the ICP label. This is ICP 11. Absolutely Han Benink is one of my favorite musicians of all time. He's doing everything here, all kinds of things going on. He uses drums. I can't even pronounce half these other instruments. Trumpet, a fiddle-like instrument, prepared trombone, Brazilian jungle, macagu, rolmo, a kazoo, all kinds of different percussion. Yeah, 14 tracks. It's Han Benink. I'm very excited to have this record. I'll show you the label. Very unique record from the Netherlands. There's your label. And then also on the same label, on the ICP label, number 6. Oh God, I can't remember. Group composing. Hell of a lineup on this, and this is an original first pressing. It doesn't say the year. I want to say 78, but I'm not 100% on the year. But Michel Mengelberg's here. Peter Brotsman's on tenor sax. Mengelberg's, of course, on piano. Peter Benink is on bagpipes. Evan Parker is here. Derek Bailey on guitar. And Evan Parker, of course, is on tenor. Han Benink is here on everything you can imagine. Recorded in 1970 in Rotterdam. This is a hell of a free jazz affair right here. I mean, you got all the players from that time period in that part of the world throwing down. So those were two big ones. Next, I saw this in a flip video from Wantless Records up in Boston area. Our man Dave Belson was kind enough to get this to me. Hamza El-Din, Music of Nubia on the Vanguard label. This is I think a stereo reissue, but this is absolutely fantastic. Oud playing, singing. A couple of guests on this one. Ahmed Abdul Malik is on string bass on the 4th cut on the first side, and on the second side you've got Sandy Bull on bongo drum on the Nubiana track, last cut on the last side. This is soothing, beautiful music. Some of the best music ever made. I absolutely love the oud. After leaving the post office, nearly decapitating fools, I said screw it, went into repo, and they overhauled the place. So all of the jazz got pulled out of the back wall and an entire section up front created to actually flip through. Reggae as well on the other side is expanded, as they have now gotten a bunch of reggae reissues in. So there's a large reggae section, a large jazz section that was never there. Absolutely fantastic. And I found the sounds of Jimmy Smith on Blue Note 1556. This is an original OG mono pressing. All the bells and whistles on this bad boy. 47 West 63rd, 33 1/3 microgroove for an extremely great price and in a fantastic condition. One I've never come across in the wild before, and yeah, you've got Jimmy Smith, of course, on organ, Eddie McFadden guitar, Donald Bailey and Art Blakey are on drums. Art Blakey's only on one track on the B side on the drums. Everything else is Donald Bailey. Not real heavy on this one. This one's you know, a lighter affair, but because it's just a trio. But it's Jimmy Smith, and it's an original Van Gelder stamped first mono thing of beauty. Stay well, everybody. Peace.